revolution of consciousness. It's a revolution of dialogue. The first step is what we're going through, is realizing the world that we have created, is taking responsibility for our actions as a collective race. Once we're able to look and observe without any fear into all of the greatness of what humankind has become, and into all of the horror of what humankind has become, then we need to move on into the next stage, which is what we're going through now. And that stage is a stage of action. It's a stage where we can observe what we've done and choose what do we want in the future. How do we want to shape society? How do we want to shape the world? And in that dream, holding the dream of what we want us to become, we need to take action. And action does not mean violence. Action means engaging with life. Stop being restful and leaving all the decisions about life and living to a few people behind a desk, and taking no responsibility for what humankind has become, because it's more comfortable for us maybe to see it and blame others for what we have become, instead of saying, me sitting here in a chair without doing anything is contributing to the chaos that's out there in the world. We need action without violence. The people of the world, humankind as a race, needs to stand up and needs to hold account those who have been the leaders in religion, in politics, in financial. And we need to embrace in full the right we have of being alive. And in this dialogue, we need to ask for what we want. And we need to be prepared to take whatever action is necessary to be heard. Again, taking action does not mean violence. There's a million different things that humankind can do today to make the leaders listen to us. We can stand up peacefully. We can stand up in silence. Yes, maybe those in power might be threatened by it and might be afraid by it, and might react in a way in which they want to make an example of those ones who are standing up to the system, and they might create punishments or new laws or new ways to silence us. But it's up to us. It's in our hands what we decide to do. Do we sit in fear? Do we allow them to be the ones who enforce the rules? Or do we become active creators and co-creators of the world that we live in? And the only way in which we can become active co-creators of the world is if we're not afraid to die for the cause of humankind. The times we're living are times of a revolution of consciousness. But that revolution of consciousness is not only going to happen intellectually. It's not only going to happen by people sitting in the privacy of their own homes and doing nothing. It's going to happen by us taking action. And taking action might mean deciding not to put up with the rules and regulations that the health system puts upon us in regards using pharmaceutical remedies that we have no idea what do they have and what are they doing to our bodies. It might be to us about asking the government to stop polluting the environment and use energies instead of combustion that are ecological and sustainable for the environment. The technologies, the energies, the resources are there. Because the truth is that money in itself is an illusion. So it's just another trap to stay stuck in a world that creates waste and in a world that creates violence and destruction. We have all the scientific, intellectual and financial resources to become a society that lives in harmony, equality, peace and sustainability. What is going to create, or what is going to be the catalyst that's going to move us into that type of society? The people, not the leaders, the people. The people caring, the people having a say in what the world is going to be. If humankind, if each one of us is not interested, if each one of us decides to drop the towel because we don't care about the world, because we don't care about our neighbors, about the other human beings, then there is no point in anything. Then that's it, it's done. It's all been handed over to the leaders, and they will decide. They will decide what type of society we'll have. Now, the one thing I do know is, for people who are controlling or leading the world, the easiest way of having a race is having a race of slaves, not of people who can think by themselves. And in one way, that's what we've become. We've become slaves of television, of the media, of marketing, of capitalism. We've become slaves of money. We've become slaves of greed. We've become slaves of wanting and of a life in the outside world, and we have completely forgotten about the true nature of reality and about what matters most, which is the spiritual dimension to life. The reality and the knowing that right here, this is just a drama, this is just a play. The real life, it's happening in the spirit. It's happening within us, inside each one of us, within our own heart. What has pushed humankind into what we are today has been shame. If you look into the scriptures, the moment when Adam and Eve got desterrated from paradise, in that moment they were able to see their nakedness and to feel shame for their bodies. And it is that analogy, it's the analogy of the moment in which we became shameful of being human, the moment in which we became shameful of being alive, the moment where we became shameful of our own way of procreating. In that moment we lost our identity, and we left the doors wide open within ourselves to welcome anger, greed, jealousy, fear, and we became a container of fear